I have some news that I want to share with you to give you some update. So basically, we have been waiting for this news for a very long time, and we were wondering if Iran will respond to the October 26th attack on Iranian soil by Israel. So we have now some answer to that. Ali Larijani, this man on the screen here, right here, not this one, Ali Khamenei, the other one. He is the man, and he opened his mouth. Just to give you some example of his previous positions, he was the Speaker of the Parliament of Iran. He ran for presidential election in 2024 after Ibrahim Raisi died. He is a politician. He is a military man. He is the advisor of Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader of Iran. So why am I mentioning all of this? Is because this is what he said. Take a look at this particular article, then you will know. Iranian authorities are preparing to respond to Israel's October 26th attack on the Islamic Republic's military sites, an advisor to Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei said on Sunday. Here is where things get very, very intense. Ready? Recently, we have seen, I'll talk about that particular incident more in details, but we have seen a guy, ex-IDF, Israeli Terrorist Forces member, was killed in UAE. UAE. Have you heard the news? No? He was a top-ranking IDF military official. He was killed in UAE. He's so top and he's so high in his position and his ranking in the Israeli government that Netanyahu himself said that whoever killed him will be held accountable because he matters. He was a big deal. So keep that in mind. Now, if you take a look at more of this article, basically you want to read here. Military officials are planning various strategies to respond to Israel. Ali Larijani said in an interview with the IRGC affiliated Tasnim News. Another important thing is this Tasnim News affiliated with IRGC, they don't bluff. Means if Tasnim News is breaking this to us, that yes, Iran is preparing to attack Israel, it means it will happen. Now, here is where it gets interesting. It doesn't mean that Iran will strike or do a airstrike or missile strike on Israel just like they have done on October the 1st. It could be some other way, shape or form because as Ali Larijani, he said, we are exploring options and strategies to strike Israel. It doesn't mean again that there will be a missile attack. Iran has been threatening to retaliate against Israel over the air strikes, which according to Israeli and US officials knocked out Iran's last 3 Russian-provided S-300 air defense missile systems and left the country naked. This is complete lie. I will tell you why. The fact that they're claiming that S-300 provided by Russia was completely knocked out is a complete bluff from the Western media and Western governments. Why? Because had they been able to do so and get rid of or destroy this S-300, I'm talking about the Israeli forces, on that night of October 26, had they been able to really do so, Iran would not have waited for this long to retaliate. Now, how many days now? Today is what? November 25th. So it was almost a month ago that happened. Iran and its defense system, including the S-300, they are all intact. Yes, maybe they came under attack, but they are not destroyed like the way US and Israel is saying. And we know the lie. Larijani's remarks came shortly after the body of an Israeli rabbi was found in UAE, United Arab Emirates, following his abduction by an alleged Iran-linked cell, giving rise to suspicions that his assassination may be related to Tehran's plan to avenge the Israeli attacks. So let's talk about this particular monster or rabbi, that's what they call him. So he went to UAE to normalize ties with who? With Saudi Arabia, with whomever they can, because they are now so desperate. So this guy went to UAE only to be found dead by the authorities there. And who is behind it? Well, according to this news, coming from who? I think this was written also Jerusalem Post. They mentioned this guy was assassinated. Now here is where it gets even more interesting, because this guy is such a big deal, and this blow, I'm telling you, this blow to IDF and to Israeli government, even though the Western media don't share this kind of news with you, but they share with you news like, oh, they got rid of Hamas's leader. Oh, they got rid of that leader. They destroyed the Hezbollah leadership echelon. Oh, look, they exploded the pagers, and they killed so many Hezbollah fighters, right? This is what you see on Western media. But when it is about Israel, no, you don't see them. This guy is a big deal. He is a big deal for Israel. He got killed, and the Western media, in most part, they are silent. Why? Because it hurts the Zionist ego to make this kind of news public that one of their chief guys, he was killed by Iran. How is that even possible? So UAE authorities, they have discovered the body of Rabbi Zvi Kogan, who had been missing since Thursday. So they couldn't even find it where he was until on Monday. So Thursday he was missing, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 4 days. For 4 days they had absolutely no idea where this guy was. And then Monday they found out. The Israeli Broadcasting Authority Kan reported that Kogan, a former member of the Israeli Army's Givati Brigades, SYED company, and an emissary for the Shabbat chapter in Abu Dhabi, was found dead. Also, this particular group, they called it the Givati Brigades SYED company. This is a group that is an extremist, ultra-Orthodox religious group. In other words, this guy was part of a cult. This guy is straight out of this cult. And they are known for their strong ties with the Israeli military. So they do all this kind of dirty work, this group, for the Israeli government and for the military. So Israeli officials condemned the killing, claiming it was quote-unquote despicable anti-Semitic act of terror. What about you killing Ismail Haniyeh? What about you killing other Hezbollah members? Those are not despicable acts of terror? Of course they are, especially when they are not fighting with you. Hassan Nasrallah was not taking up arms against IDF. He actually laid it down and he said, okay, we are ready to negotiate. Let's call it a ceasefire. Only to be found out that moments later they launched aerial attack on him and killed him. So yeah, we condemn any killing, but we have to be fair with our condemnation, right? We cannot just pick and choose whose life is more important to us and who's not. It is not, especially it is not how or on the shoulder of the Western media to describe or to narrate to us the story and tell us the moral of the story. We are people with mind and sanity. We're not crazy people. Now let's talk about this particular news a little bit more here. So in his Sunday interview, Larizani accused United States of orchestrating the Israeli actions in the Middle East, including its operations against Iran. This is what he said. Israel was counting on United States support when planning its operation against Iran. So Israel was with many U.S. resources and aircraft operating in the region to assist them, he said. Even though U.S. said, oh, no more fighting, no more retaliation, and they warned Iran against any retaliation. But nevertheless, they always help Israel to assassinate their leaders, Iran's leaders, Hezbollah's leaders. But Hezbollah is not keeping it quiet. Take a look what they are doing. So Hezbollah, they are now on a warpath, and they have launched 250 plus rockets as a revenge. 6 IDF bases training camp under attack. Hezbollah launched relentless rocket and drone attacks on Israel on Sunday. Over 250 rockets were reportedly fired in 42 separate attacks in just 24 hours. when we started talking about this whole war, a lot of people said, "Oh, this will not go on for too long. This will end the U.S. wanted de-escalation through escalation. Remember that word? We wanted to de-escalate, so we have to escalate. So now you see they're launching 252 rockets fired in 42 separate attacks in just 24 hours. So now, even though you wanted to escalate to de-escalate, your plan fell on your faces. Several Israelis were injured as Hezbollah targeted IDF's Shaga, Dado, Mishar, Gilot military bases, Haifa and Ashdod naval bases, a training camp, and a weapon factory. Israeli cities of Tel Aviv, Haifa, Ashdod, Pitah, Tikva, Ekro, Safed, and others were impacted by Iron Dome was impacted as Iron Dome was overwhelmed by the attacks. Iron Dome doesn't work. This is just a hype and a hyperbole around this particular system, Iron Dome. A lot of claims, big claims. We are impossible to be penetrated by any rockets from Hezbollah or Hamas. Now, what Hamas is saying, take a look. The Al-Qassam Brigades, the military wing of Palestinian resistance movement, Hamas, announced on Monday, that they had ambushed an Israeli force in Beit Lahia amidst intense battles in the area. And guys, we also know that Israel is becoming ever more lunatic the way they are and the way they had been, and they're killing indiscriminately in the Jabalia refugee camp. They want to flatten the whole camp, and so they are sending more bombs, fighter jets, to just kill as many as possible. And Netanyahu, he came out and made a statement, and he gave a choice to the people of Gaza. Either you hand our hostages to us, receive $5 million, which is absolutely a fake promise. He will never go and give anybody from Gaza $5 million. Can you imagine receiving $5 million from Netanyahu? I mean, people have to be absolutely fooled to believe him. But nevertheless, he said, I give you $5 million, you give me my hostages, you're the hostage for this Israeli citizen, and we're on good terms. Then he gave this choice. If you don't do this, we're going to give you death and destruction. Can you imagine this guy who is being convicted, and he's a criminal, wanted guy, he's now a fugitive, talking about death and destruction, threatening more? I mean, he knows that the world knows he is a convicted murderer, a genocider, a maniac, a monster. He knows it. So what to lose? If you don't give me my people, I'm going to be giving you death and destruction. In a statement communicated via their Telegram channel, the Qassam Brigade said their fighters had engaged an Israeli unit of 10 soldiers near the Taiba Mosque in central Beit Lahia using machine guns and hand grenades, resulting in casualties. And we know what kind of casualties that is, and that is that Israeli forces, they have lost their terrorists in those fights. Obviously, you will not hear them talking about it because it is such a shame. They believe they're still under this illusion that they are invincible. So we don't pay any price. We don't die. Rather, it is us who kill other people, and we annihilate, destroy our enemies. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next video.